Just before I start about the detail of the evening's format and what I want to cover, can I just ask you to switch off your mobiles, please, because there's nothing worse than a coach getting into a session and the wife wanting to know where you are. So if you just knock it off for us, I'd appreciate that. Right, that's out of the way. All happy? Right, firstly, I'd just like to thank you. I know you've travelled from far afield in and around Scotland, and I really do appreciate it. The numbers that have turned up tonight is credit to each and every one of you. The interest that's been shown has been first class. What I want to cover this evening is the knowledge that I've picked up in the coaching pathway, which I've actually gained from the age of 28 up to the present day with the national team here. And as it says in the intro, I've coached from under 16s, Castleford schools, Yorkshire schools, so on and so forth. But it's not about me tonight, it's about you guys going away from this particular session, this coach's update, if you like, having learnt several key points which you can take back to your respective clubs. And if I get that from you, I feel that I've achieved something great this evening, and I will follow it up in later days with Graham with a view to doing a second class. So what I will say to you as a group of respective coaches, if there's any questions you want to ask, please feel free. I am approachable. I'm not going to bite your head off. If there's no clarity in what I'm talking about, ask the question and then we can move on. Rather than sit there thinking, what is he talking about? There's no ladies here, is there? Because I might every now and again just slip a little expletive in. But off the back of that, let's be crystal clear as to what's happening, and that's the way I'll take it forward. Any questions so far? Excellent. The way I want to work it tonight then, fellas, is first off, I'm going to put the onus on you fellas as coaches to come up with 5 or 6 key points. And all I want you to do is to sit into groups of 7 and 8 around the room. Not necessarily with the guys you've travelled with, just mix and match with different coaches from different clubs. And I want one team captain from every team of 8 to give me a key point that you think is important as a coach at whatever level you coach at, because if you look at the different levels, you will find that the 6 key points that come up here are so important to each and every person that's coaching, so whether it be schools, junior, intermediate, academy, or the senior level. So I'm going to put the onus on you. I want you to interact. It's not all going to be from me, because by the end of the session, certainly come 8 o'clock, you'll probably be sick of hearing me when we get out on the pitch. So if you just want to take 2 minutes just to get into groups of 8 and 9s, please. There's about 54 here, so the mathematicians in here work it out. Teams of 8. Just get yourselves comfortable, there's no rush. Relevant.
Suppose that comes out in order of the game. Organisation.
Don't forget, nominate a team captain for each team, please. You can step forward. Any one of your 6 points you can put on the flip chart, please. Yeah, just one, because the other groups are going to put theirs on.
Just one spell.
Any? Talk. T-A-R. Okay. Good man. Second group at the back. Your team captain, just step forward and just... Safety, excellent. Next to, yeah, with the baseball, is it? Is it baseball, Mets? I think it is it? Or basketball? Is it baseball? Oh, don't be falling out here, guys. Sorry, but you guys will... I think you'll be all right, you'll be safe. Very good. Enjoyment, happy. This team here, please. And then certainly last but not least, the final team in this group. One of your team members step forward.
Spelling shape, but never mind. Enthusiasm.
Excellent.
Spelling as well.
No, we understand it, that's the main thing. Good work. Right, what I want to do now is I just want to add to this and talk about preparation, the importance of it. I've been preparing for this now for 2 weeks, and the detail that I've put into it, I'm sure later on in the actual session you'll pick it up. And it is important. It's so important that when you're preparing a team, no matter what level you're at, and it is a sacrifice you've got to take in terms of time out you're taking away from your family and also the input you put into your respective clubs. Off the back of that preparation, you've got to put detail into it. And off the back of that, you then get this. You're giving players the knowledge that you as a coach are obviously transferring to them. When you've then got that, you then look at that aspect. Your thoughts on that? Now, I went out and prepared the pitch around about 4:30, 5 o'clock, was it, Graham? Yeah. And one thing I noticed when we left, and I'd had a bad experience in previous camps with a young fella about 12 years of age, and I'll tell you about that in a second, but we noticed that the post protectors weren't on. And in a camp I've held in the past, lots of years ago, a young fellow was jogging around in warm-up, talking to his mate and run straight into the post and knocked himself out and split his head open. And I felt, as you can imagine, terrible for a long time. So it's important that the equipment's right and the safety aspect is spot on and you check it with the detail. So, talk to me about that, the team that actually threw that one in. What was it? Yeah, your team. Why is that so important?
That's why people play us in the first place a lot of times.
Exactly.
They enjoy themselves.
How do we generate that during a session?
Make it varied.
Yeah.
Engaging.
Yeah.
Competitive.
Yeah. Correct. A lot of what you're saying is spot on. What I try and do, and what I've learnt over the years with different levels of coaches I've worked with, and obviously the players I've worked alongside, I usually try and generate an energy and an enthusiasm during the warm-up so the players get onto the pitch and enjoy it. There's nothing worse as a coach than a player coming onto a pitch and thinking, oh, here we go again. I'm fucking lapping around this pitch, because I've had it as a player. And it wasn't until the age of 27, bearing in mind I've been playing professional rugby from the age of 23, a serious coach came on board at the age of 27, Daryl Vandervelt from Australia, taught us the real work ethic of a warm-up into a session. Other than that, we were just lapping and lapping and lapping. So can you understand where I'm coming from in the fun aspect and the enjoyment? Keep it varied, you've touched on it. The enjoyment aspect, obviously make the games interesting, but have a purpose behind that game. And don't waste time, because invariably most coaches are working around an 80-minute time scale. Would that be fair to say? Because the game invariably is for 80 minutes. If it's the younger kids, it's 60 to 70. So does that make sense, fellas? And that falls in sync with the enthusiasm and energy which I've already touched on. That generates a great working environment for the kids or for the senior players, which is important. And that, in turn, will then generate that. Now that, for me, and I've coached in both codes, is a massive, massive, I won't say problem, but in terms of where I'm from, which is Yorkshire, which you've probably already picked up on with the accent, I didn't get involved in union until 2 years at the end of my league career, and I played with John Bentley at Cleckheaton. And when I went from the league environment into the union environment, admittedly it was at a different level, Yorkshire 3, but still there were some quality players there. And the only players you could hear talking were the ex-league players playing union. The union boys were so quiet. I stepped into the environment at Munster, having coached Cast Tigers in Super League for 3 years, and I could not believe the senior players, how quiet they were. There was 3 dominant leaders, and I'm not going to name them because you'll know them, who were the only ones on a consistent level that would chat. Outside that, the others would just follow. They were like sheep. I've obviously come to Scotland now, been here just short of 12 months, and it's the same scenario. And the first thing I talk about before I take a session, and what I do is a static drill where you'll have the attackers will line up opposite a partner. The defenders will turn their backs, I will blow the whistle, the attackers will change positions and they'll turn around and they'll nominate what they've got. They'll become animated and nominate a player, just to generate that chat. Because if I don't do a drill like that, I don't get it. And that is just to purely highlight the importance of talk, because when I show you the clips, I'll show you 1 or 2 bad examples when the player who's being isolated in defence is a little bit vulnerable. And when you sit down with the player afterwards in your review meetings on your one-on-ones and you ask the question, why did you make that mistake? 80% of the time the answer is, there was no talk on the inside, I felt vulnerable, so I made a poor decision. So the importance of that is massive. And I will encourage each and every one of you, when you walk away tonight, make sure that is a massive part of your sessions. And there are ways of teasing it out of the players. You can give the players responsibility of taking warm-up, take the stretchers. The quieter guys, get them to step forward and take a bit more responsibility. And that's the way in which we encourage the kids to talk. I've asked a number of coaches what the reason is for it, and a lot of them say that certainly the ones in Ireland, when I worked over in Ireland for 5 years, they're always taught to be quiet in school. So for them to step into a different profession, having been taught to stay quiet for the best part of 6, 7 years, they're not comfortable talking in front of their fellow peers. So we as coaches have a responsibility to get that out of them. And if you guys can do that at the level you're coaching at, certainly the juniors, into the next level of the academy, you'll be doing a massive job and a massive service to this level of rugby, long term. So, any questions on what I've just covered, fellas? Happy? Just through there, the washroom. Oh. All right, just moving on. I just thought it was important to get you guys interacting, thinking a little bit about the environment that you're working in and the importance of these 6 key points that we've touched on. There are several others, but for me, as well as discipline, which nobody's touched on, which covers a lot of different aspects in what you're working on a week-to-week basis in preparation for your games, is so important. What I want to do now is we're going to scroll through the contents of this evening's session. So if you can just put that up for us, Kieran. Kieran's put all this together for me today, which is excellent, and taking time out this evening, which is top man. We're going to talk about my language, and for obvious reasons, the team language I'm going to use is not the same as what I would use with the national team, but the principles are very much the same, because I don't know, I know 1 or 2 faces, but the majority of you I am not familiar with, and for Graham tells me that everybody's legit and from Scotland and you're all here in the best interests of Scotland, but you know where I'm coming from, don't you? So the language has slightly changed. The principles are as I would operate with on a week-to-week basis with the national team and the 2 respective provincial teams. And just on the back of that, the time I get with Edinburgh and Glasgow is invaluable, and the fact that Sean and Rob, Andy last year, who's now, as you know, is national coach here, allowed me to step into their working environment on a week-to-week basis and work with the players. Going forward with the national team, that's been invaluable for me, because 3 years in Ireland with the national team, bearing in mind I worked 2.5 years with Munster, they would not allow me into any one of the provincial teams. The only guy that did was an Australian coach at Leinster, Checker. So I can't stress how important that is for us moving forward. And off the back of that, I'm going to show you a few clips a little bit later on as to what the defensive systems they've been implementing in their season today in preparation, in pre-season, sorry, in preparation for this season. I can now see the pictures unfold in front of me as to what I want when I get them in international duty. So that makes my job a lot more, what's the correct word? Help me out here. Not easier, but straightforward. Fair point. So I'm not having to pull players in from Simon Daniele at Ulster. They're predominantly up and in defensive pattern. I pull them into the international camp. Right, Simon, we're going on up now. Our defence is up now. I nearly come out with the terminology then, but that's the Tigers. The up and out defence, which we are 80-85% and up and out aggressive line speed. Off the back of that, I'll get Simon in, and what I've done in the last few weeks in pre-season, just to put you in the picture, I've been to Gloucester, Worcester, Northampton so far. I'll be travelling next week into the Exile clubs to sit down with the respective defence coaches to get feedback as to what their systems are, so that when I get the guys on board here, I know what they've been working on a week to week, and I know what traits they're actually working with. So I can then sit down and say, look, this is what you've been used to for the last 8 weeks leading into the autumn test, for example. This is what I want. I want no excuses, and they know exactly where they stand, because I'm a straight talker. There's no bullshit with me from day one, and the guys respect that. Anything controversial, we'll talk about it, discuss it, and openly put it to one side. All right, guys, so just on the language, it's important that you take it on board. There are a lot of points in the booklet. I'm going to skip one or two, but I will touch on the most important ones. The terminology of the forward movement, the push on the lateral movement, and then the technical aspects off the back of it. Once I've then done that, I'm then going to touch on the team systems and defensive maps which I operate with, and I'm more than happy to share that with you. And I'm not saying that everybody's going to go away from here and put it into their clubs, but I'd certainly hope that you're going to take certain aspects of the DOA, what I'm talking about, and implement one or two things, because believe me, it does work. Of our Euro Nation success in June, I put a defence system matrix together off the back of every game, and what that does, it highlights each individual's errors. From the first game against Russia, we had 28, leading into the France A game, we had 16, and of the 16 system errors, 7 were just bad reads. So it was an individual error within the system. And that's the level we're looking to get at. So I'm going to touch on the detail when I do the visuals at the end of it. And then we'll talk about the key points, and you guys are going to interact and have input on that. Very similar to what you've talked about here, but in more detail. And then I'll talk about the training session. And if there's any questions before we hit the field, I'll explain to you what the training session is. You've obviously had a browse through your booklets. You've seen the training schedule in the back of the session. I'm not 100% sure what numbers I'm going to be working with out there, but I've got plan B and C prepared. So if it's 20, I know what's happening, so on and so forth. So that's the detail I work at. Any questions so far, guys? We'll kick on. Right, we're going to have a look at, we'll go through the team language. Important body language on a 3-point start. What I call the set, that's his first position into a 3-point start. Now, if the breakdown's there, some coaches encourage either an opening defence with the outside foot, so they've got that angle to go in. Other coaches up and out, and that takes away the interest of stepping in. You're more square on. I'm not bothered because of the quality of players I'm working with. But at certain levels, it is a good starter base. If you want an up and out defence and the ruck's there, that will take away the habit and the tendency to step in. So inside, if the ruck's on your right, right foot forward. If the ruck's on the left, left foot forward. And then you're playing straight and out. It's just a little cue. It's good for the kids, certainly. Just on the back of that, I like the players to actually, on reset, when they get round into position, is to get onto the balls of their feet and not plant. A lot of players, what you see is when they come round, is stand and plant square on and rest on the heels of the feet. That is a split second from there to there and then moving forward. And it's all about cutting time and space down to the opposition threats. So that's so important for us, certainly at our level. The turf is a forward movement, aggressive line speed. different line speeds to suit different systems, which I'll talk about later. The wedge is the up and out, and what I encourage the players to do in relation to where the attacker is. So if Jesu's taking the shots here and listening to some of my lingo, jargon, whatever, if I'm defending against Jess, my angle is inside shoulder, offering him just one option. If he steps off his left foot, he steps into, so if you can stand up so the guys can see it, because we're going to be doing this outside. So we're working off a Tigers defensive pattern, which is an up and out. What's your name?
Alan.
Alan is their first receiver. I'm defending at A defender. I don't want Alan to have both options of left and right shoulders to attack and stand square on at him. Clear? A lot of you will understand this. This is for everybody in here. Everybody's at different levels of coaching. So what I'll do is just edge here, offering that if Alan comes to me and steps off his left foot, he steps straight into me.
Yep.
All right? You've got him in a position then on the outside shoulder, you're comfortable. So all I do is encourage on his Tigers defence is that position, inside shoulder, up on the arc. What I will also encourage is for the first movement of whichever defender, whether it be in guard, shield, A, B, fringe wide, he must go up and then out. What you usually get is the forwards in particular when you get into the later stages of the first half from 35 to 40 and then 65 to 80. Their first action is to do this one, offer a soft shoulder, problems. And that's what your 9 wants. And if 9's running lateral with an inside cut play, you've got a fucking serious problem, right or wrong? We all understand that? So encourage the guys, hip square, forward, then track, and work on the inside, and then work on that next defender. And plenty of chat on the inside. So that's important for us. I'll talk about that in more detail when I show you the pictures. The cops is where you're looking to police, hence the cops, police the opposition to the touchline. Your touchline becomes another defender, and I'll show you a clip. I'll talk about that in more detail. The blitz, that's an opening, closing everything off. All right? And I'll show you 1 or 2 examples when it happens on the field, and I'll put you some maps up and I'll chalk it all out so you know exactly what systems I'm talking about, and I'll do it nice and slow for you so you can copy it on the blank sheets you've got within your handbook. The colour wall, I call the Scotland blue wall on a kick chase for obvious reasons. When we change to a away shirt, we stick with blue wall because guys are comfortable with it. And that encourages a trigger for everybody to link into position, have spatial awareness and working 5s and 6s, as opposed to one player working in isolation, causing separation, causing problems. And when you've got the likes of a Banner, the likes of Turner who's playing for the Aussies, there's several players playing for the Aussies who are broken field runners are exceptional. So we've got to be smart on that. Then off the back of that, if you scroll it on for us, Kieran. Is the defence team language again. 9 at the base of the scrum, and I'll talk about that and I'll show you defensive map, what his specific role is, certainly at the higher levels of Scottish rugby, and the importance of him communicating to the looses breaking off and falling straight into a defensive pattern. Because what Scotland have been guilty of in the past, and when I was with Ireland, we exploited it several times. And if you can think back to Croke Park, I think it was 3 years ago, Scotland were all over us for 25 minutes, didn't come up with any points. We had 1 break, ended up with a scrum right in front of the post. 9 went out with 8 and popped 7 straight under the sticks, Wallace. I don't know if you can remember it. And it was a massive turnaround in momentum. Because what happened then is the body language of the Scotland team just went, and Ireland off the back of the good defence that they put in, give myself a bit of a plug there, but there you go. Everybody lifted, and that's why the platform for every team's success is the defence. Because mentally it can absolutely ruin teams. So let's buy into that. Then you've got the plug. The plug is off the back of the wedge. And what I mean by that is once you've wedged, you see a threat coming into that next channel on an offload option, you've got to accelerate and close it off. Wales are the best team at doing it. Because what they do, when a player engages in support, they actually take out the player even if he's got ball and all. They just put him straight on his ass and the defender stays on his feet. You take a player out of the attack, you're back into position. Byrne, the fullback, is excellent at doing it. So just bear that in mind. Just scroll on for us, Kieran, mate. You've got the poach and the trap, the lock-on and the levers, all technical aspects. If somebody would just like to step forward, one of the younger fellas, British Lions shirt, woolly hat on. Come here, young man. Let's give you some South African pasty. Right, come in here, mate. When I talk about the first one, we'll look at the lock-on, so you can see. Because what this will do, it'll cover a little bit of time outside. And obviously I can go straight into the decision making off the back of some technical work. When a player has got the ball in his right hand, have we got a ball hand here, Graham? Did I ask for one?
Yeah.
Thought I had. When he's got the ball in his right hand, get the sharp edges and you can put him anywhere you want. Once I've done that to you, try and release that arm and offload it. And he's a big strong lad, but he can't. So that is a lock-on technique. It's massive in league and it is coming into union because a lot of teams are now looking for that offload. So once you're into attack, we've got to, come on Alan, you're up again. You're sat in a good seat there, mate. Once we're into D and we've got a simultaneous defensive effort, I've gone high, squeezed on the ball, Alan comes in, I say I've got ball, he drops his hips, he takes away his leg drive. And that's the other one, the lever. So it's important in a two-man tackle, you're not both working and wasting energy because when the two guys latch onto him, you get a mini maul, you're going backwards. Take away that opportunity. That's a one-on-one technique where you've made the hit first, bang, drop, lift. You've got a two-on-one technique. I've got ball, he then drops. So that highlights the importance of communication and also working together against one threat. All right, guys? And I'll show you one or two little examples outside on that. We've then got the trap. When you're coming round, and I'm going to show you a little drill which you can take to your clubs, and it's massively important now with the new rules that have come in, and the referees are actually encouraging the defenders to get in there and spoil the ball. It is a bit of a shit fight at the moment. I don't think some referees' interpretation is right, but what's happening is the defence are actually being smart and cute in how they're exploiting it. They're actually coming round, first defender's low, second defender sweeping round, straight on the ball, low body position. And what I talk about low body position, so you can see me, is you've got to work your way in. So the tackle's being made there, I'm working on the inside, I've got to feel my way in, get a low centre of gravity. Once I get in there, get a wide stance, slightly bent knees. If you've fallen upright, what's going to happen? You're going to get blasted out of there. So nice and tight, and it's like the boxer, chin in, chest on the ball, and get your hands on the ball. And the tighter you can get, the less effective they're going to be. They're just going to deflect off you. And all you've got is 2-3 seconds to get down and squeeze, and the referee will give you the penalty. So all you've got to do is be honest on the inside, the tackle's been made, feel your way in, straight into that dominant poaching trap position. And that's a technique I'll show you in the technical aspects of tonight's session. It's moving on. Key points on technical points. Right, you've just heard me talk for the last 3 minutes on that. Anybody give me one? British Lions, blue and green shirt, please.
Communication.
Communication, chalk it up. I'm going to go up to 6 again, 6 key points. Anybody else? I'm not going to point the finger at anybody, just throw the... Preparation. And that comes with knowing the opposition, doing your homework on the opposition, and knowing what their little cues are. As in, he's got a right foot step, I know he's going to come back to me on my right shoulder. If I show him that outside, he's going to come back into me. Alternatively, if you've got a player, second row, who's got a good offload game, it's spin offload, you can do your preparation, and at all levels you can do it because you play the teams 2 and 3 times a season. So don't be fooled by having been stung once in your first match. You get back, and it's easy just to keep a little note of what the opposition threats are and who the key players are and what the little traits are. Just jot it down, and that's a big part of your preparation. It'll put you in good stead for a result against them if they've knocked you off. Any more? Technique. I've talked about sharp edges, locking on. So just sharp edges being the elbow and squeeze. And off the back of that, he has got no control for an offload. All he can do is that. If you leave his arm free and you hit the midriff and he's still on his feet, he's got that, he's got the inside offload, all his options are available. And alternatively, he hits the deck, he's got a clean presentation, full arm extension, happy days for the attack, wasted energy in defence. The reality is, some of the defensive efforts, that will happen. But if you make the players aware of it, 20% of your defence is going to improve big time off the back of it. So you've had communication, you've talked about preparation, talked about technique. Anything else? Correct. Work rate. Inside the ball. Do not clock off. That is a key point. Well done. Go forward. Do we go forward in isolation or do we go forward together? Excellent. That's within your systems, and I'll highlight that later on when I show you the pictures. The importance of working together and not thinking, right, I'm going to fix this. You've had a bit of a bad 2-3 minutes in the match. You've dropped a couple of balls. Your head's in bits. The red mist descends, and you think, I'm going to smash this guy. You fly out the line, you leave your two mates, and they're thinking, what is he doing? And it happens, doesn't it? And it's all about self-discipline and control. So working together, having a discipline within your defensive system. Right, we'll leave that, we'll move on. Team systems. Tigers, that's our standard up and out defence. 80-85% of our defensive efforts are with the Tigers. I'll show you clips off the back of that, and I'm going to do you a little defensive map, which we'll do when I've explained the other three. Your cops is the soft passive defence where you're policing them, you're short of numbers and you're buying time for the inside to link in. And your defensive line is only as strong as your weakest link. If those guys are not working, as mate has said out there, you become vulnerable back on the inside, and quality teams will do the little cut play to a link. And and invariably it's your tight five, switching off, they've got to keep working. The blitz I've talked about, aggressive up and in. Your colour wall I've talked about, safety in numbers. I'll just show you a few defensive maps now. I like this. This is the Andy Gray of rugby. So just bear with me, just chalking up that blank page for us. Tigers, they're the key points. I'm not going to go through them because you can read them at a later date. All right? Because we'll be here all night if I do. And no doubt I'll be repeating myself anyway, because what I'm going to explain now is how it should operate. You've got your breakdown there. Now, some teams have pillar A and B. I have a guard and a shield. Everybody's got different terminology, but so you understand what I'm talking about when we get out there tonight, my defensive terminology is guard, shield, A, B, C, fringe. Guard, shield. Let's get rid of that. Happy? There's two guys in the contact collision area. The only time I would encourage three is if there's an opportunity to get a trap or a poach or steal. And then we attack that and counter up and blast it. And that is a recognition call by the players in and around the area. And they've got to be smart while in motion. We cannot bite in, and I'll show you clips where 4 and 5 players bite in, leave the outside guys vulnerable. We're then into cops mode because 2 players inside the ball have made bad decisions on reset. What you've then got, guys, is your first receiver, second receiver, wide, 15 out the back, and your first receiver's got what I call a trail option back on the inside. Responsibility, your first thing is guard, moves forward, any threat of 9 going lateral. If this guy goes lateral and looks to hit runners in here, or this guy coming on a cut play, all we do as a defensive line is engage and cut it off. All right? So the initial Tigers, because 9's engaging us, we're engaging him. He's actually dictating what defensive pattern we work to. If, alternatively, this guy passes the ball nice and early to first receiver, what we've then got, A's on the inside shoulder, B's on the inside shoulder, C's on the inside shoulder. If 15 engages into there, we go from a Tigers into a blitz. and it's a read, he's the most important defender because that's where the deception and threat is. And I'll show you some little drills. Now, these guys I'm working with tonight are young fellas between the ages of 16 and 18. I've never seen them before. I'm hoping the skill set's going to be good enough to execute it. If it's not, we'll just jog through it and give them a chance. I don't want to put too much pressure on them. But it is important that the read off B, he steps in, and all you're asking this guy to do is mirror his actions and close everything off. All right? And what I will encourage players to do when they're in that position there, where the deception is, with 15 being an option either inside first receiver or outside him, is just get forward quick, first 5 steps against deep attack, then ease off and what I call paddle on the balls of your feet, and then accelerate once the play has been played. So the play's there, it unfolds, you then attack it. Do not attack it all at the same line speed is what I'm telling you. It's got to be quick, controlled, quick. I had a scenario with a young fellow who's just joined Glasgow. I had a chat with him before yesterday's session over at Glasgow in preparation for this week's game against the Scarlets. He did some excellent things, but because he was used to work with London Welsh in an opening defensive pattern, and Graham Morrison inside him is an up and out, which I've been working with him for the last 12 months, there was a bit of separation on the outside shoulder of 13. Unfortunately for Glasgow, the 2 wingers, or the guys on the outside of them in multi-phase attack, were reading it for him. But they did make 2 breaks against him. So it's important that you stay square. Early recognition, and a big fault of players who are defending, certainly B to C, what do they invariably do when they're out here? All the action's over there, 3 players away. What do? They watch that, don't they? They've got a clue what's happening here. You must glance, scan, recognise what's in front of you, and whatever threat's there, you've seen the picture, you can deal with it. If you're going to do that, first receiver's got it, and then you go. By the time you've engaged their line, it's too late. So encourage the players to have hips square, right, nomination, animation, I've got fronts, and we're out the blocks. We're working together. So that's the Tigers defence. Any questions on that, guys? Pretty straightforward.
Will the guard and the shield, when the response are going up, are they going up and then coming, or?
Yes, everybody links in. As I said, you'll have that, and this guy will come up, and that's invariably the shape you have. Because
Up and out A wouldn't take the 15 coming in?
only if they've put the play,
Shield says,
if he's said, look, push, push, push on the wedge, yeah, and he plugs it. If there's no communication, our system is that, he's engaging, yeah.
So when you're talking, because that to me, that diagram just looks like a man for man in a zone that just went up and who's in front of him. When you're referring to the out, is that getting to the out of the shoulder? Of the fella that's not moving on, not necessarily moving on to the next person?
I'll just work A, he's on there.
Yeah.
B, he's on the next one. That's the initial setup.
Yeah.
But as soon as you get, we'll put the short side winger in there, which invariably happens. He's looking to engage that. If the shield has a trail option runner inside first receiver, he's got to be alert to that first and foremost. And that's the reason he's there, just to hold him up. That then puts this guy on A, asking questions of A. He's got a responsibility. Once the first receiver fixes him and plays square on him, the next threat is that, and he has got to engage. And then if he does a skip pass, the next player engages. And that's exactly the play Glasgow got stung on against Munster at the weekend. They actually, I'm not going into too much detail, but they positioned 12 on his inside shoulder, and 13 initially started out there, but when the ball was in motion, he came into here, and one player at his outside shoulder and one player at his inside shoulder. And they did that, and because the C defender stayed out, there was massive separation. So can you see how everybody's going to mirror the actions with the man inside you? And if you get into a system and you replicate that, the players just buy into it. You must replicate it in practice.
So it's the line as a whole that's moving up and
Yes, exactly,
from the inside.
exactly.
If
This-
team doesn't move out, the line
Correct.
stable.
Correct. If the attacking team are playing off you, it's up and out Tigers. If the attacking team are engaging you and playing at you with a shallow attack, that's when you're engaging and closing everything off.
Do you expect your inside player to, once it's gone past A, is A going to help on B there? So if the ball's been passed, what's his role after
If they're I'll do it in red, then there's no confusion. If their first receiver is attacking that channel there, with the second receiver hitting a line into there, he deals with that as B, he deals with that as A. If there's a trail option runner into there and he puts a little pass in, Shield plugs it.
if the ball's shifted to second receiver,
Yeah.
what do you want A to do?
Right, we'll just chalk it up again. This is what I want you to do. Ask questions. Say that again, sorry.
So ball's been passed from first receiver to second receiver, I presume you want A to push inside and help defence there.
I always encourage our width around A to A is dictated by his A defender. He will always sit inside shoulder.
Yeah. So he goes up, the ball's been passed to the second receiver.
Yeah, off him, yeah.
What's his,
A plugs the next threat,
so he just
Yeah.
shifts across the
always. And that's the shape you work to. And that's the arc I talk about. What you don't want is a scenario, which does happen when the players get fatigued, is you'll have your guard, your shield, your A thinks, oh shit, there's a problem over there, and he tries and fixes it. You lose that defensive integrity. You've now got A jagging under the line. You've got B's gone up. They do a little cut play. You've got problems. Can you see how everybody's got to fall into shape? And I'll show you some prime examples of how it's done correctly and when it's not done, why it's incorrect. Moving on, guys. Good work, that's what I want. Questions thrown at me and challenge me. And then hopefully you'll have a clear picture as to what I'm talking about. The cops, non-aggressive defence versus number in favour of the attack, poor reset or turnover balls. These are different scenarios, how this can actually eventuate. Non-aggressive line speed, allowing time for inside defence to link into shape and negate any threat. Using touchline as an additional defender, and I'll show you a picture on that later. So, move on, I'm not going to talk about it, I'll show them the picture. Blitz, opening aggressive defence, decisive up and closing down. Must stop man and ball. Now, just on that particular point, if you put me onto the playing sheet, Kieran, please. His main objective on a blitz is to come up and close everything off. I'll just give you an example. If the opposition, I'll use a bit more width. They're on a short side, there's your touch line. First receiver, second receiver, third receiver, wide, 15. They've got two levels of attack. They've got the option to go out the back, or they've got the option to play flat in the front line. Are we all clear on what I'm talking about so far? Yeah? What you've now got is, we've got lots of numbers in our defensive line, and I'm not going to specify who they are. We've called a blitz, and the call must come from him. Because he's recognised in favour of us as a defensive unit that we've got numbers in favour of us. It's really slow ball. We're going bang. So these guys are really aggressive, putting pressure on that. He then closes off there, and leaves him. And if they do the long pass from second receiver to him, what he does, he has an insurance there and he tracks him because the flight of the ball will allow him to get across. And I'll show you, I think I've got a clip from the Glasgow Munster game at the weekend with Rob Dewey. Oh, I don't think I put that on, did I? Rob Dewey did it to perfection. I don't know if you watched the game, guys, but he came in and did a blitz call, took man and ball and drove him back 10 metres, but off the back of it, Parksy worked in behind him for the floating pass. And that's how you've got to work, make the reads. And all you do is simulate it in practice, and I'm going to show you a decision-making drill tonight. So I'll just skip that and move on, because I've got some visual pictures to show you. What we like for time? Oh, we're happy. Colour wall, kick chase, team must work together. I will allow flyers, and flyers being the speedsters, the wingers. It's important that the wingers, I'll just put me, for example, we've had a driving maul here. Put a box kick in. Hello, there we go. We've put a box kick in. They've collected it. They're right winger. Our 11 is working hard. They've got a link player who will invariably be there 10 or 15 out the back. The guys at 12 and 13 have worked back and give them options out wide to make that 2-3 pass play. What I encourage is if the 11 can take man and ball and it's a judgment call, fly on it. If not, he's got to ease up and link into the line. 9's obviously going to drop back into the pocket. That's 10, that's 12, that's 13, that's 14. Can you see how it all unfolds? And the judgment call is made off him. Now, if the kick is misjudged and 14's received it there and he's got time to pop it off and play, these guys go straight into Tigers mode and show them the touchline. I think I've got a couple of examples of when it's done well and when it's done poorly.
Just on that, where would you expect would you have set positions for your forwards to occupy in your
Yeah.
areas, you could midfield line?
Excellent question. Like it. What I would want is obviously the first 3 guys who are at the front of that driving maul, they'll hit the deck. The guys who are on the feet out the back, and invariably you've got, maybe we encourage you 7 to stay out for obvious reasons, and sometimes 8, depending on what was available. These guys, they're on the deck, they become secondary bobbies, if you like, with 9. 9 will then work inside the front line. So that's the secondary line. They're last off the ground. These guys, bearing in mind that the kick's gone in, it's been an eye bomb off 10. 10 will drop back, 12 will chase, 13 will chase, 14 will chase. These guys will fan into position off the back of that. And they're straight in. And then what you have, we try and work on mini walls of 5s on kick chase with a secondary team of 3, plus 1, which is 9. And invariably, if you put a diagonal kick in, and that causes a fair few problems, certainly against the top sides with pace, the chip kick into there is a problem. As 9 has a responsibility to be the player who cuts that off. And then you've got your backfield pendulum where 15 goes into that channel, your 10 comes in, and then your 11, having made that read, works into there, and that's your backfield pendulum, how that operates. But I'll show you pictures. Move on. Just leave that, the guys can pick up the coaching points off the back of the visuals. That's tonight's session. And what I'm going to work on is a bit of technique off the back of a 10-minute warm-up. And the warm-up will be based on basic principles of reset. And my resets will be guard shield round the corner. We're playing against a team that cogs a lot, and a cog being a keep on going. So my guard and shield are the first 2, so have we got a white sheet? I don't think we've got a blank sheet. Oh, top man. Bloody hell, you're on the ball, you, mate. So what's happened is they've engaged there. What I will then encourage these guys to do, drops into guard, drops into shield. Our A defender does not get sucked into there. He keeps the width of our defensive line. Because if he comes in, everybody's going to move in, and that takes away anything between 8 and 10 metres of width on your open side defence. And I'll show you a prime example of when it's done bad, it causes all sorts of problems, which I've got a clip against the Italians. So that's a good question. Let's move on. Just back to the session. That's it, that's the one. So I've got the technique, I've got the decision-making drill, which what I'm going to do is, I'll put the attacking team, favours the number of them, so we're going to go into a cops. What I'll then do is I'll put the numbers in favour of the defending team, so we're going to go into a blitz, and I want the kids to read it, and we'll see how they go. What I want them to do initially is buy into it, and then as the session progresses, they'll get a feel for it and they will improve. And it's something you can rep every week. And then once you've done it just by doing one defensive effort, reload it, do it again, you can then put it into multi-phase off the back of your reset principles. Then once I've done that, I'm just going to do a bit of defensive organisation for you and just show you how I do my 5-man line out D, full line out D, I'll give you a prime example. If there's a breakdown in communication, which there was with my forwards coach, for whatever reason he changed it on the Friday before we played at the weekend, and against Ireland, Stringer went through a fucking great hole that a bus could have gone through. And it's still fucking, I have nightmares about it now. But that's another story before I start getting a bit angry. But that just highlights the importance of communication and working together in your coaching environment. And it is a massive, massive importance. And then, off the back of that, I'll throw the floor open again to you fellas. If there's any questions before you make your way home, feel free to step in. And then we'll just put a close on it where Graham will step in and, along with myself, I'll thank you all for your attendance this evening. So, what I want to do now, because I've gone on a little bit longer than what I thought I would, we're going to have a look at some pictures. And off the back of these pictures, my first 4 examples, I always like to start my meeting by showing the players the negatives, areas where they need to improve. I always say, this is where you need to improve, guys. And then off the back of that, I always finish with a positive. This is what you can do when everybody's on the same wavelength, working together, how effective you can be, and then they walk away feeling good about themselves. The worst thing for a player, and I've had it myself, is a coach barking into your ear and pumping negatives into you all the time, and then you think, well, am I good enough? Am I at fault? Then you look for excuses. Is it my teammate? Is it the system? Is it the coach? So always stay positive with them, and obviously off the back of 3 or 4 weeks where you've had the same problem with the same player, simple, you look for another player. Right, just off this one, this is a prime example of what I was talking about, the importance of reset. As it stands now, we've got a Rhinos defensive pattern. Everybody's numbering up there, happy. Off the back of this play, watch what happens. You guys can tell me, having listened to what I've just been talking about. Right, just take it back, Kieran. Why do you think we've had to go into a cops defensive mode? Just take it back 3 steps. Right, watch what happens from this area. When these guys engage the tackle area, what these guys do, there's not 2 players, what I call my guard and my shield. He then steps out, he steps out, I steps out. We should have 5 players in that channel. Well, there's 15 closing off at the back. You just watch what happens here. This is piss poor defence by players who are not switching on. Watch this. Chunk goes in, Ewan Murray goes in. He should stay out at 8, Johnny Barkley, he steps in. There's 2 in the collision, there's 5 players in that area now. Just watch, roll it on. And just stop there. And what I want now is, because that's happened, and the reality is it will happen during the game for a number of different reasons, he has to tuck in there, link in with him. Excellent, excellent, excellent. And all they do is they play a cops defensive effort. Watch what happens here. If he'd have been smart, he should have gone and fixed him, put the pass, play flatter, play on him, 2-on-1, problems. But because the Italians are, I don't rate them, I'll be honest with you. Top sides would have exploited that and punished us. So can you see how it all unfolds, the importance of the reset values? Just move it on. Off the back of this one. Excellent D. Slow ball. Get out the blocks. Poor technique. Get a gain line of 3 metres. Reset again. Out the back. Show and go from Manning at 10. Good D. Right, what I've put this on for is, watch this, just put it back to that one, Kieran. The importance of the guard defender. Firstly, John Beattie here has got involved in here. He should have dropped straight into that position there at guard. What he's now done is put pressure, I think it's Murray Lowe, pressure on the shield defender. Just roll it on slow-mo. I'll just get rid of that. Can you see how it opens up channels, and the smarter players playing shallow attack will exploit it? And just watch what happens. They played back to where we were weak, but they didn't execute good enough. Now, I've put this on because out of a bad situation, this is the defensive effort I was talking about earlier on, with Parksy wrapping around the back. This is a decisive, and I call it red zone, in your last third of the field. You get no second chances in it. You've got to be decisive, make the decision and go through with it. And stop it there. What Rob Dewey's done here, he's seen the picture early, and he knows if there's a play out the back, he's going to stop it. And what Dan Parks does, he drifts in behind, because if they go with a floating pass, he covers it. And just watch how the system unfolds here when it's done correct. Excellent technique, squeezing, locking onto the ball, turned him back towards us. He actually does well to get the ball back into his own players. Just skip it on, Kieran. Right, this is a poor showing. Did anybody watch this match? What a disgrace that touch judge was, eh? I says to Ben Keynes today, I says, have you sent him a pair of glasses? It was scandalous, wasn't it? And it could quite easily have cost them the match. Off this, obviously it's Edinburgh line out, but the reaction, having lost the ball, is poor. So as a result, they gain momentum. Just watch it. Passive tackle, quick ball, roll on. Stop it there. That is a player making his own decision, going low. What do you think is going to happen here, having just seen it? Offload. We've now got problems. They've got an overlap, and to their credit, they've got a quality player out wide who's going to exploit it. That should have, if you come in, you've got to come in on that angle and stop and cover the passing channel. And the angle of your approach, you come into that angle to stop that pass, because if he passes it, he's going to pass it straight into your body. And what he'll do is, as soon as you open up your body to make the shot, he'll see that you're there and he'll pull it back in. But you can't allow him to do what he's done. He goes low, makes a poor decision, and all he had to do was sit out. And I've had a chat with Chris Patterson, and he got himself caught in no man's land. And this is a player who's been playing for Scotland for the best part of how many years? You guys know better than me. 10? 9 shot caps. As a last defender, you must come up with something. If the opposition are good enough to get on the outside of you, old Jan will say, well done. But you cannot just take thin air. He had to fucking punish him. And the player who passed it, you punish him. Next time he's in that position, he'll be a little bit tentative. I'm going to get hit here. Move it on. This is a kick chase, blue wall, isolated runner Alex Groves against France in the Euro Nations Cup. That should have been stopped, 22, in shape. As a result, they actually come back from where the ball's been kicked. 3 offloads. Can you see the importance of working together? Just move on, Kieran. What I like about this is it's tight work around A-to-A defence. Pick and jams, low body positions, under the legs, snapping. Back on the feet, into position. Urgency, working around the corner. Excellent work. Cardiff thought they were going to out-muscle Edinburgh at the weekend, guaranteed. You could tell with the game the way in which they were playing. Xavier Rush and his crew were going to just take one up the middle and punish them. It never happened because Edinburgh had prepared all week to get forward. And fair credit to Nick, the new defensive coach with Edinburgh. He highlighted that, made them aware of it, and everybody was queued into getting up and smashing them. And the week before, they played Newcastle. I went to the game. They came away with a defeat. They were the best team. And off the back of it, they had no turnovers. They did a drill, which I'm going to do tonight. They came away with 10 turnovers because the players were made aware of it. The previous week, leading into the Newcastle game, because the preparation was a bit shallow, they didn't cover it. So can you see the importance of doing drills to simulate what you want in your match? Just sit down, prepare the session, and think, well, this week we need to work on this because these are going to come direct at us. Line speed, target the ball, because everything's there in a tight channel. We can have numbers in. You don't have to write the notes down because everything's on the karaoke mic here and he's filming it, so the points I'm talking about you'll pick up if you want to listen to it. If not, just do what you need to do with it. But there are some points in there, fellas. This is a kick chase. Now what I like about this, just roll it back. Watch what the 11 does here. Visser, new signing for Edinburgh. It works in isolation initially, and then he thinks, oh, it's a 2-on-1. So he holds up, drops back, and works with the two guys arriving a little bit late in behind him. It's not the best of tackles, but it's an effective tackle. That's Alpenny, who's got magic feet. With a bit of space, he will punish you. So that's an excellent kick chase decision made by 11. Just on this one, same again, kick chase. Two guys on the far right channel work together, hold off, and let the guys on the inside. Can you see how I think you were asking that question, how they're fanning and link in with him. And all you've got to do is, as the last two attackers receive the ball, if they've got 30 metres in front of them to look up and time to see what the picture is, right, there's a space there. As a defending team, you've got to have an awareness to close that space and link in with the two guys who've left you and work diagonal and close it down as quickly as you can. What you don't want is those two guys going upfield, north-south, and these two guys in midfield doing that. You just get them to link in. And you can actually do drills where you have 3 players chasing the kick chase, 2 guys on the deck, 3 press-ups, off you go, link in light. Just little drills like that, just to simulate kick chase. Just roll it on. Same again, box kick. What I like about this, just stop it. This is Glasgow, Edinburgh last season. Just talk me through this, you guys. The coaches in here, just take it back, Kieran. What do you see here by this guy? Watch. It just gives him that split-second protection. What he should have done as soon as he got there is ease up and make the attacking threat to the receipt player run round him and not have a direct run. And we call that escorting off the ball. And what it does, it opens up channels for the attackers to actually exploit the space that's been left by that player. Chris Cussiter is absolutely A1 at doing it. Just roll it on. This is the line speed I talked about and the technique off the back of that, smashing them. Kick option. And the reason they're doing that is because what? Why do you think they're doing that? And if you look at the clock and the score line, you wouldn't want to be kicking the ball away in that field position, would you? It's because they're intimidating them. They're actually bullying them on their own fucking paddock. And it's great to see is that. That's when you know you've got a team psychologically they're going. They're wilting. Let's move it on. Line speed again. Now what you've got here, Amish should have engaged, just take it back. And this is the importance of when they engage, we engage. It's put a wide ball in. There's a little bit of separation in here, but as soon as he engages that, you've got to engage. And then if there's an offload runner coming into there, he comes in. Likewise. Can we see how it all unfolds? And you can replicate a drill to do it. What I would like to do off the back of this, just to put in the picture what my plans are going forward, the drills I work with Glasgow and Edinburgh, or the drills that they're putting in place, I'm going to actually collate a DVD together with the drills on it and get it to you guys, because you've taken time out to come and listen to me. In return, the least I can do is give you some valuable information going forward to obviously improve your players, because long term it's going to improve us. So that's what I want to do in the next 4 to 5 weeks before we get into the autumn test. So off the back of that, Graham, we'll square that up, all right, mate? What I like about this, the initial play, it's poor attack from Cardiff, but if you look at this player, just roll it on a touch, stop there. He's thinking, I'm going to go up and stop it on a blitz. And then he's checked and he's gone back. For whatever reason, he's thought, no, I'm a little bit vulnerable. I'm going to come back in here and he's going to close that off. He works around the back on the pendulum for a kick threat. We're happy again. And that's good decision making under pressure. This is when they had their best spell of the game. They had a bit of a purple patch. They're back in the game at 16-22. And they look for a kick option because it's well organised defence. You know yourselves, after 4 or 5 phases, when you're marching a team down the field with good aggressive defence, the last option is to look for a kick, whether it be field position territory or a little speculative chip or a little grubber kick where they think the front line's a little bit vulnerable, we can exploit it. This is counter-attack from deep. They're chasing the game. You look at the clock, last 2 minutes. Excellent covering behind. That's the ball game. But what I like about that is just take it back. Is what I talked about earlier on, just hold it there. The only place that look a little bit vulnerable is in here. But he's linking in. Watch this, what happens here. Everybody's in shape and all they're doing is pushing them out here. The last option is to kick him behind. The pendulum's in. He's already shaping up to go and cover as well. The 15's already gone. And just watch what happens here. This is a perfect example of how the Rhinos works. And you're linking in. And 19 happens to be Richie Vernon, a young kid who played on the wing because they've got busted players doing a top job for Glasgow. Just a couple more clips, fellas, just stick with it. It is important just to highlight the importance of it. We've seen that one, so we'll skip that one, that's been shown earlier. Right, these are from the autumn tests. And you just rewind that. What I like about this, you look at the starting position of our guys. You then look at the shape and the speed of line speed. Now, what you've got is, this guy's thinking about the crossfield kick which talked about, which they did. Once the first receiver's received it, he will then engage. He'll work in there. This guy will work around the back. And that's how you work your pendulum. And off the back of that, this guy should be thinking, any threat into here, I'm also secondary cover. Just watch this. Nice and decisive, dominant, front foot defence, pressure off, and as a result, Peterson kicks the ball. Next 2 metre game from the 22, we've got a great attacking situation. Where South Africa were in a great attacking situation for them. And it's a game we should have won. I'm sure you'd all agree with that. We didn't, and there's lessons been learnt from it. This is, I like this because it's hard work on the inside of the defence, as reset. And what I just hold it back, this is what I call kidding an attacker into thinking you're going Saints, and then at the last second he goes bang. So he's thinking, right, we're going cops, cops, cops. Watch what Daniele does here. He holds off, he holds off, he holds off, bang. That is excellent reading and good technique. Very unfortunate to get a penalty against us. Just skip it on. Skip this one, I've said I don't want to see that one. This one I do want to see. Right, this is a defensive organisation. Because of the time, we're running over a little bit of time, I just want to show you this one. This is what I do from a full line out. Just take it back to the start for us, Kieran. Right, just move it on. 4 clips, 1, 2, 3, hold it there. Right, my short side winger starts inside 10. My 9 places the channel on the short side. A 7 never engages at the tail of the line. We don't compete at the tail. We'll compete front and middle pod. If they go over the top, John Barkley stops it there and then. Obviously in this game it was John Barkley. I'm not saying he's guaranteed his spot every week. That's another story. This guy is taking the line up along with 10 aggressively. Now, when we looked at that, I'm thinking we can be a little bit smarter than this. And what we've started doing now is cheating a little bit. There's no referees in here, is there? We now pinch a couple of metres on the touchy. So we're actually now working from an 8 metre defensive line from where the line out is, as opposed to 10. We're now working off the pace of one of his quicker players, which was Tom Evans here, and we're really getting out the traps and forcing pressure, not only on first receiver, we're actually targeting the second receiver because all the decisions invariably are coming off him. So watch what happens here. What I encourage my 11 to do, watch that, just take it back. Why do you think I've encouraged my 11? Once he makes the tackle, to get out. For what reason? Don't forget who's on the short side covering. So it releases 9. What happens is, as soon as 11 makes the tackle and comes out, he drops back into his left wing spot as Bobby's covered because there's 9. If his 11 stays in there, as 9 stays on the left wing, and as 15 becomes more shallow in defence. So 15's got to be aware of 11's actions. If he's in there, he's coming up. If he's not, he can sit and push across to the open side a bit more. Do we all understand that? That's the pendulum in operation again. And the importance of a player who's not actually involved in the collision, he's involved big time in the action of the next phase of attack against us. We'll just stop it there, Kieran, because I've been talking a fair while now and we've shown a lot of clips, but I think it is important, fellas, going forward just to... Oh, in fact, we'll finish on this because this is a 5-man line out. And I've just actually put this forward to Glasgow this week because last week they looked a little bit vulnerable. Just stop it there. Just take it back to the initial line out. The setup here on a 5-man line out, just roll it on 2 clicks. Stop it there. Now what you've got is, that's our 3, that's our 9. As 11 stays back, our 9 is our line speed. He takes us forward. The 2 looses, 8 and 7 are inside 10. Now what I do is I will also, depending on who we're playing and who's playing at 10, now Phil Godman technically is very good. Dan Parks, he knows what I think about his technique. He's a little bit passive. So what I would do is, they've had a look up while the line-out's being set. They're going to try and get a gain line against our 10. What I would do is, while that's being set and 10's had a look, as soon as 10 looks and then looks in at the 9, there's late movement and 10 drops into here, 7 goes to there. And it fucks them up big time. You will be amazed how the first receiver thinks he's gone. And honestly, I could show you clips and they've done that, and because he's seen him and then he's seen that it's too late to change the play, the execution of the play is inaccurate. They come up with errors and they also come up with bad lines of attack, and that's when you can really punish them. So that's just a little bit of late movement. And what I also do on the far open side, just run it on. Stop it there. It's excellent line speed, good shape. This guy I also encourage to sometimes sell his initial positioning, so that'll be a 13 there. In this case, your 14 will be out wide. So the 10 looks across and sees that that space is not available to him for a crossfield kick. When the line out's set, I'll then squeeze him in and he'll tuck in just inside, just on the outside, sorry, of 13. Can you see how it keeps them guessing? And it's so, you would not believe how useful it can be. And all it is late movement and just making the wingers aware of it. And that's in relation to what you're playing against. If you've got a team that like to put a crossfield kick in, they're the kind of things we look at. Right, just off the back of that, guys, because we're running on, it's 20 past 8. I'll cut the session down out there to 40 minutes so you're away on time, as I said you would be at 9 o'clock. Is there any questions on what you've just been listening to? I know I've done a fair bit of talking, but it is important, fellas. Is there any grey areas that you're not clear about in terms of the systems, my language, or any technical aspects of what I've touched on? Are you comfortable? The good thing is it's all going to be, I'm all mic'd up. I'm not going to sing. I'm crap at karaoke. But I do hope that the one thing I want to achieve tonight is that you guys walk away from this session having picked up 3 or 4 key points that you can implement at your respective clubs. I do that and you walk away happy, I'll be more than happy. And like I said before, Graham steps in and just closes this part of the session off. I will follow up the drills for you. There'll be half a dozen drills, not too many, And at the bottom I'll put footnotes and key points for you so that you know where I'm coming from and what you're looking for. And then if you want to implement them into your training drills, and believe me, the ones I'm going to be very selective on the drills I pick out for you, you'll see a big improvement. And all it is about repetition in terms of quality and what you're doing. It's all right just having them bashing fucking pads and bashing pads. Like Cardiff, their clear-out technique was piss poor. And they are muscular, very, very physical men. But because technically Edinburgh were smarter, it wasn't about being physical, it was about being smart and technically cuter than what they were. They just made them look average. So that's the reason I'm going to do that for you in the next 3 or 4 weeks. So you've got all the details of each coach's address and that, have you?
Yeah, no, we've just got emails, so that's the next point is I'll give you my details outside, and if you want copies of, you know, what Graham's highlighted and this DVD, then just send me your address to my email address and then we'll get it posted out to you. So
The good thing is the weather's been kind to us. If it had been last night, I'd have been calling it off outside, but feel free, if you've heard enough and you want to step away and make your way home, I won't be offended. But if you want to come out and see the practical part of the session, I'd be more than happy to cover it for 40 minutes. Explain what we've got in store for you. I'd just like to thank you for being patient and hanging about. I know it's been a long night for you. And one or two of you have got a bit of a sweat on already. I appreciate that. All right, guys. What I will say is that the session's going to go for no more than 40 minutes. All right? That we're listening. Make sure that when we are listening, off the back of that, we're doing the drills that I'm asking for and nobody starts clowning about, because if you do, I'll just ask you to stand pitch side. All right? You all look quality guys anyway, so we'll take it from here. First part of the session, we're going to have a little game of touch. And then off the back of that, I'm going to talk about reset principles. All right, so let's get some, before we start, just get yourselves a partner. Any partner? Right, in your pairs, give yourself a number, 1 or 2. 2, stick a bib on, please. Right, guys, what I'm going to work on first up is just the principles on this game of touch of the guard, shield and guard. Just dropping in and the A defender staying out wide and not getting them involved in the action. Just a game of touch for them. They've not done it before, so it'll be interesting to see how they go. What I want you to do is, I've put some red cones on here. You can come on the pitch and stand where the red cones are, please, across the 10-metre line. Right, guys. Have you all got, I want you all in green, please. Right, just come over here, guys. This is important you listen to this, because this is the purpose of this exercise, is to get the reset right. My guard, so you guys, come here. You're coming this way. Yellows are coming this way. You've gone down on the deck, you've made the tackle. Tackle, tackle. Guard here. I'm just going to explain to them, fellas, what I want from them. Guard here, you're defending the try line in behind you. Shield. Here. A, red shirt. Big fella, come out here, mate. You're the first receiver. You've got 10 on your back. Can we play that role? Top man. Inside shoulder of first receiver. Do you know his name?
No.
Find out what his name is, because you've got to talk and nominate who he is.
What? Andy.
How long have you been here together? About an hour? Get to know who he is. Right, give me a guard, shield and A at the other side of the ruck. Shirts, please. Right, give me a trail runner just on side, inside first receiver. You're the short side winger, just where the red cap is. Right, what I want you to do, 9, 8, 10, you engage in here. You two guys make the tackle, all right? If you hit in that channel, you're going to engage in, but first off, you must go forward. The priority is 9. When he passes, you can then work and link inside him. So go up and work together. So if there's any back on the inside, you stop that threat, right? I just want to jog through this. Let's go. Right, and what we want then is, when the tackle's been made, you're going to come round the corner into guard, you're going to come round the corner into shield, and you're going to come round the corner into here. Can you see? So the first 3 players on the opposite side of the ruck have a responsibility to work hard inside the ball. So if there's any threat comes back in off an offload or a right foot step, you're in position. Off the back of that, when the ball's gone and the tackle's been completed, these guys are going to go 1, 2 far, third player near. 1, 2 far, third player near. And the A defender, who in this position is the guy with the Lions shirt on, you keep that space, and as they're coming round, you just slot them in, dropping the guard shield. You got it? That's the exercise. Now I've got the whistle. 9 can't play until the whistle's blown. As a coach, I'll always stand out the back of the defence, fellas, so I can observe the shape, who's working in good line and good shape, and who's actually working in poor shape and working together. So I always sit at the back of the defending team. Right. Spread out. You guys are defending. Right, what I want is this. Always 2 guys in the collision on defence. In attack, always the ball carrier +2 clearing out. It's all controlled. I don't want no full-on collisions. So once you tug, down on the deck, 2 players in with him. We got it? Go! Right, just relax, give me the ball. It's probably the biggest crowd you've played in front of, is it? Just relax, they've all paid the money, so you're sweet, you'll get paid after it. Are you happy? Just relax, let's go. Right, whoa! What I want you guys to do in attack is go round. What should you be doing? Go round. You got it? So, you stay out, stay out. You've actually stepped in, stay out. Go round, step there. Go round. Step in here. And what we've got now is we've got 3v3. 2 numbers in favour of you guys. Now you've seen that you've got the numbers in favour of you guys, what are you going to do? You're going to get out really quick, aren't you? Can you see how it all unfolds? You guys, you've got 3v3. So you've got a more controlled up and out defence, right? Can you see? So what I want you guys as defenders to recognise now is when you've got numbers in favour, you're going to call blitz because you've got a 4v2. You're going to close it off. You guys, when you come up forward, because you've got a 3v3, who's in guard here? Who's first defender at the breakdown? Getting nice and tight. Inside shoulder, inside shoulder. You got it? That's how it all maps out. When the ball's gone, you work inside the ball. You got it? So what I want us to do, I want us to go 3 plays to the right, all off 10. So you can't pass 10. What I want you guys to do is fold around and drop into position. Go! Whoa, 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 whoa. Right, no, whoa. What did I say, 9? The reason that you can't play off the whistle, I want to see. Excellent guys in defence. The 3 players did what they were asked. All right, it's just to get short so they're in shape. All right. Ball back, ball back. Give him the ball back. Right, what I want now, the guys who are in guard, when you've got a player coming round, there might be a bit of indecision. Get animated and say, I'm guard, guard, guard. You now know that position's covered. You got it? What are you going to do for me now?
Guard.
Excellent. What are you going to do?
Shield.
Who's he? What's his name?
Chaz.
Well, talk him up. Let's go! Good discipline. Good. Right. Where did you come from to go to guard? Exactly. You don't have to. You're keeping your width. These guys will step in. Can you see? Right. We'll start with the ball. Give me the ball. We're going to go into that channel, then we're going to come back. 3 phases, cog. Let's go. Right, they're coming back, so stay here. They're staying here. Good. Give him the ball back, give him the ball back. Whoa, 9. What's this? It's for a purpose, just to make sure that everything's controlled and that we're working to game time. All right, so we're looking at 3-4 seconds. Right, who's got what here? Talk to me, you fellas, who have you got here? Right, this young man, guard shield A, B. You've got him. Right, what's his name? When you're out here, it's important this, boys. When you're out here, you must look at what's in here. Glance in there, but you can only deal with what's in here. If you do that and ball watch, when the pass is made, before you know it, that attacker's in your face, he's putting the moves on you. All right? So look, I've got 3 points start on the front foot. Go! Play on! Good! Right, when you've got a player coming round, guy in the black top, what's your name? Right, Johnny. What Johnny's doing is had to come about 10 metres. What you can do in the Welsh shirt, right, you can step out 5 metres and say, Johnny, step in there. So you're coming in, he's now got time to have a look. But if you're in here, come in here where you was, and Johnny's getting here, by the time he's getting round, the ball's coming. Yeah. All right? So let's do it, go back. Right, he's on his way. Let's go! Push. Right, what didn't you do for him? Talk to him. All you're going to do is say in here. Can you see the importance of the talk? Open your mouth. If it was a bird, you'd want to chat her up, wouldn't you? Right or wrong? Right, correct. It's the opposition. We want a result, we want a win, and if you're silent, my mate here who I'm defending with, silence inside you gives you what? None. Exactly. So let's be smart. All right, let's go. Good. Good. Right, this team have got it. Happy with that? The last 2 phases they did what I've asked. I want to see if you can do it. You've now got the advantage, yellows. I've been talking to these for 5 minutes. You guys know what's happening, don't you? You're going to defend. So turn round, so the coaches in behind can see. Turn round. Yellows are defending the try line. Shirts are having the ball. So if I engage this channel here as an attacker, you two are in. We're going that way. We've got numbers, so you can stay. If they've not got numbers, they've got to go round. You've got to tell them. You got it? So let's go into this channel. Johnny, where are you? Let's go. Play on, not just stop the whistle. That's good, boys, good. I'm guard. Right, defenders, now have a look at what you've got on the short side. Stay that side, please. Wells, shirt, stay behind the hook where you was. This is where it's important as a defender, you look at what there is here. You have the responsibility as the last defender to say, I don't want you. Push him out, you go across to the third channel. Guard and shield can stay, good away. Outside the green shirt. Push him out now. Push him out. Whoa. As you're coming round, you've seen him coming round. What, do you know his name? No. Find out what his name is.
Callum.
Come on, don't be shy. Right, we've just made good mates here, that's good. Callum, Harry, so as he's coming round, you're saying in here, Callum. All right? Can you see where it all falls in place? Good work. Right, guys. The shirts are going to have 3 phases. You're going to go 1 that way. So you guys stay where you are, because they're coming back with 2 phases. So the reason is, you've got to do that is by scanning and just mirror what their movements are. So you guys in here, I just want you to drop straight back. So you've made the tackle. As soon as you get back on your feet, you think, right, they're staying, I'm staying. Just mirror what they're doing. If they go, you push and link in. You got it? So one fades that way, two back. Good, like it. Right, whoa, excellent, excellent. First player who's come round and bossed and talked and said push, push, push. And you did it, didn't you?
Yep.
If you're going to ask, he'll do it. That's what teammates are for. Good work. One more player around the corner. Good. Hold it. Look at the shape we've now got in his defence. Because number one, you're looking. Number two, you're getting round, you're square on. Right, tell me who you've got here.
Inside of him.
Excellent. Who have you got here? Excellent. Who have you got? Who's priority? Exactly, he's the first priority, because if he dummies and snipes on your inside shoulder and you've gone on him, problems. Don't go until the pass has gone. This is how it all works now. The pass has gone to first receiver. Come up, you're on first receiver. You've got an inside trail. It's your responsibility, so just walk forward. Stop there. You've got this one. You've come forward as shield, at guard, sorry. You've got that. Can you see? Alternatively, if the ball goes out on a skip pass, we all work on the arc, out wide. Got it? Because when we're coming to the decision-making drill in 5 minutes' time, I want you to remember that. You got it? Look up, nominate, make sure you're talking, and then when the ball's gone past you, work on the arc and plug on the inside and say push, 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 or wedge, wedge, wedge. As long as you're talking, right? And then if this guy, I'm gonna work on you, you're gonna come on the inside. Harry, is it Harry? Yeah. Harry's gonna, you're now aware that he's your man, because you've nominated him. I'm gonna take him on. And that's how it all unfolds. But if Harry's not talking, he's got himself in a bad position, and he's actually on the outside shoulder, you go there as well. Yeah, white shirt, you're on him, on Callum. Stay there, Harry. I'm now going to exploit that space because you've got 1 metre too far to your right. Stay there. The separation is there now. You've now got a problem. You've got him. Do I engage that channel or do I stay there? You got it? Watch what happens here. Let's go. Let's go. Can you see how it's an half chance for a break? Just because one player has stepped too far across. You see that, guys? The importance of inside nomination and knowing what channel you're in. Right, we'll go on to technique work. 5 minutes. Let's go. Pair off. Pair off.
Clear off.
Right, guys. Once again, there's red caps here. If you just stand behind the red caps, please. I've put them there for a reason, so you obviously can see what's happening, listening, and you're not going to get in the way of the collisions. Right, I'll do a demonstration. 2 volunteers. I'm not going to point at anybody. Like it. On the shield. Facing him. Right, the trigger for the start is the 9 passing. You got it? So what I want to see is a 3-point starting point. No, not like that. He's a sprinter. It's good that you're right though. You're right, I'm wrong. 3-point start. Give him, you've got this channel, right? You've got 4 metres to beat him. So do you think you're in the right position there? You can start anywhere you want in this channel. Middle, correct. Right, you've now got him there. If he steps with his right foot, he steps into you. Right. If he takes you there, you get him. What I want from you is number 1, nominate who he is. Right. Do you know his name?
No.
Find out.
What's his name? Chris.
They've only been here an hour and a half. All right, you guys who are waiting before we go into the next drill, pair off and get to know who you're working with, please. All right, you meet good friends here. Right, just listen in now so you know what's happening. You now know his name. Nomination, animation, do it.
I'm on Chris, I'm on Chris.
Right, what you're going to do, Chris, when I blow the whistle, you're going to take him on. I'm going to be out the back, and I'll do that. If I do that, it's a right foot step. If I do that, you're going to try and take him out here. If I do that, it's straight on. You got it? And what I'm looking for from the defender, so what I've done that. So you're going to try and take me on my outside, just at half pace because I'm an old man. Right? And what I want on my approach is to first 3 steps go back, nice and quick, then slow up, thumbs up, and I don't want to see anybody do what I'm doing now. What am I doing?
Standing both feet flat.
Both feet flat, and what else? Where's my ass?
Just
Sat on the toilet, aren't I? All my weight is transferred backwards. Good board. What's his name?
Chris.
I've got Chris. In and step in. And the important thing is on defence is to step in, drop late, and hit. Like that. You got it? I told him I was going to smash him because I had a Welsh shirt on. Go on, get up. You did volunteer, didn't you? Right, this time put some resistance on me. I've got Chris. Let's go. Better. Then when you get the hit, because we're playing against big fellas who are aggressive, get in because we've got a bit of a cushion between us. Nobody's going to get hurt, but what I will say is make sure you get your head in the right side. When you made the hit, squeeze and then look for his leg. You got it? So it's it. The collision's important first, and when you've got the hit, drop the hips and lift his leg. Put him where you want. Right, go to your stations. You've all got a channel to work in. You're working off the whistle, you're doing 2 each. Right, what do I want to hear? So everybody's going to get a shot. Right, I can now see, what is your starting position?
3 point.
Starts fine. In relation to the attacker, where's he going to attack? Which side? He's got both sides, hasn't he? Which side's he got now?
Just that one.
Exactly, if he steps off his left foot, you've got him. You guys, the attackers, that's forward, that's the right foot step, that's the left foot step. All right, and then you'll get the whistle. You as defenders, don't look at me and cheat. Excellent, I like that one, I never saw it, but it looked a good finish. Are you happy with that? Right, I want to see that one again, please. You know what, you're now putting the full demonstration on. Excellent. Right, guys, just watch this. What I want you to watch is take the shield off him for laughing at him. Get the shield. Yeah, you. I know I've not got the best eyes, but you're having it. Right. Which is your strongest side? Your right side dominant, are you? All right, you're not bothered? Right, we'll put you this side, we'll see how good you are on your left. Same again. If I do that, you're going forward. If I do that, you're going to try and beat him. Right, let's hear it. Let's go. Right, what's good about his technique? Right, the hit is excellent. The squeeze is top draw. His body angle is bang on. Share it with us what you just said. His leg drive. He's not just content with making the tackle and then thinking I've done my job. He wants to really monster him and put him right on his ass. Right, switch round. Switch round, it's payback time. Don't forget, get to know what the names are. Everybody drop in and out. Everybody's dropping in and out. We're only doing 2 apiece. Right, don't forget. Stand 1 metre to left or right of him. Don't allow him 2 angles of attack against you. Right. Is that a 3-point start? Well, all I'm asking for is consistency, right? And it will benefit you as a player. And the more you practice good habits, the better you're going to be. Do we agree with that? Right. Let's have a bit of pointing then. And let's hear that chat. Okay, that's good. Like it. Right, change again. Right, this time. 2 square onto him. Give him one side. Left or right, it's your call. Have you got it? Right, attackers. You're now going to get a step against them. You defenders don't look at me. Wait for the hand signal and then the whistle to start. Right, who got a bust against them? Did he beat you?
Yeah, he beat me.
3 press-ups.
Where are we going?
Right, same defenders again. Right, this time, are you going to do press-ups?
We're just done now.
No, I'm on about if you miss again, which you're not going to miss again. What you did last time, listening guys, because he made the miss, his line speed was too aggressive. And when you've got a player who's stepping, so step me on my right shoulder off your right foot. So he's gone quick. Can't track him. Let's go back. Take your first 2 strides, because we're only working from 4 metres away. Take your first 2 strides, you can step anywhere you want. Let's go. Let him make his play, then go. You got it? So it's quick, controlled, get him in your sights, bang. Happy? Better, what you've got to do is just step one more step into him. You got it? Right, enough of that. Come in, boys. Well done. Bring the shields with you as well, please. Right, what I want you to do now is work in 4s. And we'll do a demonstration on this middle grid here, so I want 1 ball here. Each team of 4, you want 1 shield and 1 ball. The balls are just there, please. Organise yourselves. 1 ball, 1 shield between the 4. I'm going to do a demo with it. I'll use your team. Right, we'll do a demonstration in this grid here. This team. Guy in the shield. Stay there, stand there. Ball carrier. Right, the way this works, fellas, it's important you're listening. 2 defenders here. In the middle, please. Right, when you get into your grids and your pairs, you've got a number 1 or 2. It's not difficult. I will call 1 or 2. On this occasion, I'm going to call 1. You're going to go in low.
Yep.
You're going to nominate. What's his name?
Craig.
Good lad. You're going to come in. You're going to go low. And what you're going to do as the next defender, you're going to get a feel for it, work your way in, get in a nice low body position, nice wide base platform, get your chin down and get your chest on the ball there. Right, you go careful with me because I'm an old man. Try and knock me out of the way here. And if I get a good grab of the ball, I've got it. Right. If I go in this technique, wide legs without the bend, and without the chin and chest being now slow, I'm here with full arm extension, knock me out of the way. Too easy. See the difference? So feel your way in, wide platform, ball, how ball. Right, that's the drill. Get into your channels, into your 4s. It's all right, the guys with the shields just hang fire for now because it's an addition to the drill. I just want us to get into the body position and the angle of approach on the poach and trap on the ball. Get into the 4s. Right, all I want, it's all controlled. I do not want any stepping. I don't want no aggressive hits. We're going to jog. We're going to go low, and the guy who's supporting defence is going to come in and assist and get the ball. Have you got your numbers 1 or 2? Yeah. Right, 2's your tackling. Right, what I want, what's your name, big fella? Ewan, get back down. What Ewan did, put the ball. What Ewan did is Got his legs wide, excellent. The only thing he didn't do from that position is what? Exactly, his chest and his chin in nice and tight. So you're less of a target for the guys coming in to blast you out. If you get yourself in that position, they'll just deflect off you. And then what happens then is your teammates will come and assist and blast these guys out. Counter up, we've got the ball, we're playing. And the best part of playing rugby is what? Correct. Right, what I want now is slightly different drill, same 4 guys. 2s are going to make the tackle, we'll just walk through it, so 2s, off you go. The ball's there, the 1s are going to come in, and as the 1s are going to come in, the supporting attacker is going to try and take out the way, as he did with me earlier on. So you're on the ball, try and blast him. Right, what do you think he's done wrong? What do you think he's done wrong? He's very aggressive, this guy. He's obviously had a fair bit of rare meat before he's arrived, excellent. Once you've got your hands on the ball, it's another skill to have strong fingers. Get a nice wide grip, squeeze it, do it again. Get aggressive with the ball. And don't let him knock your ass off the ball, all right? Get the ball, go. What's he got this time? And once he's got the ball, excellent. He's gone backwards. Full arm extension on the presentation. We can play. We got it? Right, that's the drill. 2 minutes and we're going to move on. Twos. Get over it. Good. Excellent, excellent. Best one yet. Quality. Poor start, but the most pleasing thing is you've improved it, knocked you up a notch. Happy with that? Keep changing your positions, please. Keep changing your positions. 1s. Get on the ball. Excellent. Good body angle, nice and low. Good. Keep rolling round. If you've had a shot on the ball, change your position to D. Last couple, we'll move on. Are we listening? I see 4 shields. So we've got 4 attackers. I want to see 4 players in defence come up with the ball here. All right? I want us to be strong. Body angle, nice tight squeeze on the ball, strong legs, nice and tight low back, chin on chest, chest on ball. 4 key points. One thing that stopped happening in defence, what is it? Correct. Let's go. 1s. Come on, get on it. Good. Last one. Right, last one. Of all the defenders, and there's 8 defenders on the touchline, every one of you talk and nominate who you've got. Right, can you now see how much more of an environment in terms of working and generating that enthusiasm that is, as opposed to it being, I've got Johnny, I've got Dave. Get aggressive, intimidate with your talk, and then on the back of that with actions, get forward, because if you're really up for it, the chat will come, as my big friend here has shown. Right, ready, 1s. Good work. Right, come in, boys. Right, before we move on, 4 key points were other. First starting position, talked about that. Nomination comes with chat, that's the good one.
Chin and chest.
Chin on chest, for what reason?
Keeps you solid when they try to counter.
Exactly, you're nice and tight, you're compact, they can't get you out of there. If they've got, the only way, just, big boy, get a ball. The only way I can get you out of there is by doing that and turning you towards us if I can get a lever. And then my mate comes in and assists and targets the ball. Have we got it? But if you're down low, I can sack him by doing that, but he's going to get momentum and gain valuable yards. So what, I go down again, I've come in through the gate. I've got to do that. I've got to go that way, and there's a big strong ox. See where I'm coming from? So you've got to be smart on your approach. If the ball's there to be, I'd have it. If not, it's got to be the man. Any questions? Right, what we're going to do, I'll leave the defensive organisation, guys, because I touched on it with the line out and that. What I'll do on the scrum D and how I set my scrums up, I'll do that in maps for the DVD that I'm going to send out with you with the other drills, all right? So, obviously, we get to have a look at that. What I'm just going to finish off with is the last drill here. So if you guys now can just stand in behind these red cones facing that way, I just want to do a little defensive drill on the decision making on the cops, which is soft, the blitz, which is aggressive up and in, and as standard tigers. Right guys, I want the bibs. You're in possession, you're attacking. The breakdown's here. I want a first receiver, second, third and a winger. I want a 15 out the back, and I want an inside trail option off the first receiver. So give me a back line of 3. A full back out the back inside the outside winger. Right, what do you think this scrum half's doing wrong? Yes. Practice of your left hand. Right, listen. Nominate who you've got. Right. You guys now are going to do a Tigers defence up and out, as I showed you before. What I want you guys to do is give it to the second receiver. Harry, go inside the second receiver, please. You've now got the option 12 of inside outside. The touchline, listen, winger, is the first orange cap. That's your touchline, all right? You aware of that? So you're up and out. 12, you're going to try and beat them on the inside, the outside, or show and go on a dummy. It's your call. Right, let's hear the chat. Excellent defence. Right, what do we do off that collision on the next phase against us? The first 3 from here, 2 round the corner, the third one drop in. You stay there, big man. 2 of us moved. Good. Right, excellent. We're now going to work from this yellow gate and we're going to work to the far blue cap. That's your touchline. So defence here, I want a guard shield on the short side. I want everybody else out there, please. Right, the last defender, the right winger. Just throw those shields out behind you, please, so there's no obstruction against you. Right, defence. Who's guard? Get animated. Shield. Right, hold it there. Right, looking at their attacking shape, there's going to be big questions asked of this player at 12 and this player at 13 because of the numbers. So what you guys have got to do inside is work really hard and push. What you guys have got to do, the big lad again, you're the ball player. I want to see if you can exploit a play to break these down. And what I want these to do, it's called Tigers. Tigers, get to here on the 10, let the play unfold, then make your shot. So it's quick, slow, let the play unfold, nominate and make your shot. I want to see if you can beat them here. Good. Good defence. Get around. Good defence again, whoa! Right. Excellent reset, excellent line speed, excellent shape, good spacing. Technically, what did you do? He got the old coffee table out, wanted a cup of coffee, and did that one. Stay up, bang. You got it? Stay up, dip, and hit. Do not do that, because what will happen is what happened against him, then you get beat. Right, last 2 plays, and we'll call it a day. Switch it round. You guys are defending bibs, please. Shirts, you're attacking, the ball's coming from there. I want 1 player on the deck presenting, 1 player clearing out. Want 1 player in the tackle area. Right, get your spacing. Right, what are you playing? Right, get tighter. Who are you playing against? This is where the roles can change. Because the first receiver's tight, shield's now on him. Go wider. You step inside him now. Can you see how it all alters? You're now, if he dummies and hits that channel, you're squeezing with him. You got it? If he passes, you're going to go forward. If he comes in here, you step in. If he comes out and passes, you're doing that and you're plugging in. Good lad, like it. Right, what I want is a play, a strike play, a cog, then come back for 2 phases. I want to see if you're good enough to do 4 phases for me. Good defence. Get round the corner. Come on, attackers, let's go. Got to stay together. Excellent. Guys, whoa. Got to give these 2 a pat on the back. Soro's nothing on short side. Left the guard, stepped into shield and A. One thing you're not doing, what is it? Exactly, just half a metre. If you see that as a first receiver, take him on. Because worst case scenario, get an offload or a good gain line. Yep. So come on. 2 phases. Play on, play on, play on, play on. Good defence. Have a look at where they are. Have a look at where they are.
One more out.
Right, what was pleasing there, the big boy in the white shirt, what's his name again? Ewan. It did not commit forward. What was he calling?
1 more out.
1 more out, 1 more out. Now this is when you've not got to pay lip service. If he's talking, he's doing it for a reason. Why? Because he wants you, doesn't he? So what you've got to do is respond to his talk, which you did, but one thing you didn't do is what? Correct, talk back to him. I've got you, Ewan. Can you see how it all falls in sync? Good work, come in. Come in. Right, just jog it over here, guys. Right, that'll do us, fellas. Just come in nice and tight, coaches, please. How do you think they went? First session. Quality, quality. So I think they deserve a round of applause. Well done, guys. Before you leave, make sure if you take away two key points from tonight's session, I'll be happy. All right? But what must you do after the end of the session? Have a warm down. Right, who's the captain here? Who's the captain? There's no team captain. Take the boys for a warm down. All right, you've got 3 minutes and a good stretch. Right, can you see how it all unfolds, fellas? Obviously, you were a fair distance away from where I was and you probably didn't pick the key points up, but it's so important to get into a good observational point at the back of them. If there's a glaring error made by an individual, just stop it, go up to the player, address it, and just tell him where it's gone wrong. If it then occurs again by another player, just stop the session and say, look guys, this is where we want to be, and just have them jog or walk through it. Because what you'll do is, if they start having errors after error and you have 5 phases of attack against us, they're going to end up way down the field, and we're going to be on the back foot, and they're going to lose a bit of confidence in the session. So can you see where I'm coming from?